Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. Today I have a guest stamper with me. It's Beth Bollinger. Say hi, Beth.
Hi everyone.
Beth's going to be sharing with us the card that she facilitated at our recent Stamp-A-Palooza 2017. And those of you that got the kit to go, this is one of the cards that you'll be making. It's a fun fold card, and we call it a bridge fold because it collapses for mailing. But then when you open it up, these little components make a bridge and it sits up. Let's get started making this cute card. So what we used today for this card was we used the Hearts Come Home bundle. This is new in the 2017 Stampin' Up! Holiday catalog. And please stay through the end because we'll show you some awesome projects that Beth made with this bundle. Well, Beth, why don't you kick us off and show us the steps we need to make this card?
Very good. There's lots of pieces, as you can tell from the card that you saw. We've got a couple of cutouts from the edgelets here. We've also used one of the stamps, and we're using some gold glitter to have some fun with it. We're going to put some of the gold glitter behind the houses. Let me kind of get this in so you can see it close by.
So pretty.
So the Joy to the World stamp that we used, we've already done the gold emboss off camera to kind of speed up our set here. So what we want to do is, I like to do all the pieces, parts, and then assemble afterwards. So I'm going to set those aside a little bit. And as you saw on the sample, I guess this one's the front, we have some snow scene on here. We're going to use an item that's in the new annual catalog. Yeah. So it's embossing paste. One of the issues is it's really lots of fun. You can see a lot of versatility to it. You can add color. We need to get this. Okay, so we have this embossing paste, and what I'd like to do, the reason why I want to do this first before we put our gold glimmer on the back, is you want to give this time to dry. Because not only are we going to use the base, but we're going to put some dazzling diamond fun glittery stuff on top of it, so it's going to really sparkle.
Love that.
So we're going to do a little scoop of the embossing paste and kind of make your little snow drifts as you want. One of the things about the embossing paste, it's really easy and fun to use, but it does dry quickly. So what you'll want to do is get your project taken care of and make sure you get your lid on tight when you're finished.
Will we do both of the housing scenes first with the paste, or do one at a time, Beth?
I think on these housing scenes, in order to get the card to fold properly, getting this lid on tight, we just did the snow on the front one and not on the back.
Oh,
so it wouldn't be quite as thick when you fold your card.
Perfect.
So we have our embossing paste there, and while it's still a little wet, I'm going to just open up a blank piece of paper here so I can get the dazzling diamonds on it.
Because as we know, glitter makes everything better.
It does. Shimmers and shines. There you go.
I love how when you put the glitter on it, it really pops the snow drifts.
Right there. So the next piece we're going to work on, we've got in our packet 2 gold glimmer pieces. One is going to go behind the Joy to the World that you've embossed as the front part of the bridge card. And then the other is going to be used for the backs of the houses. Now, of course, you don't want it to look quite like that. You want them individually. So what we did was just flip over these house cutouts and traced around them. So we're going to do that off camera, cut them out, and then we're going to glue dot on the backs of the houses, and you'll see what that looks like. So we've cut out the gold glimmer for most of our houses. We're going to attach the last one. You can see that we've done a couple for this one. The die cut itself, there we are. You see that? The full thing has all those elements, but our card that we're putting this back piece on is a 3-inch. So what we're going to do here is cut this off, so we're just using the 2 houses and the trees and the snowman. But your kit will have this last house cut off, so you'll have less work to do for yourselves. But I'm just going to show you how we attach the back of the house. Remember, we kind of traced them behind there. And as you cut them out, you'll probably want to definitely make sure you cut inside the lines and may even need to take a little more trimming off once you get that done, so you can kind of see what it looks like before you affix it.
That is beautiful.
Lots of shimmer and shine. So we're just going to use glue dots to put this on, and some of the glue dots will be flat, so I can put one here or on the house itself. Sometimes the glimmer paper gets a little bit finicky about attaching itself. And then I'm just going to make a couple of rolls of glue dots and put it here and there to get the edges of the house on the glimmer paper, or vice versa.
So by rolling, you can shrink the size of your glue dot to fit in those little nooks and crannies.
Little tiny places.
Got it.
So I didn't press hard yet because I probably need to just shift it up a hair.
And you could always trim it
Yes.
afterwards too.
You can.
So pretty.
We've got a very shiny, shimmery front of our card. And this covers the whole front of our bridge card. So we keep this full length here as we do the assembly.
So for those of you that get the kit to go, that got the kit to go, just make sure that, you know, the one with the church steeple on it, you save that one for the front of your card, and that's where you put your embossing base on it.
Okay, I think we have all of our parts ready to assemble our card. In your kit, you've got a card base with pool party. It is 8 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 1 1/4, 2, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. And that's going to be kind of an accordion fold. So we fold out and in. We take the bone folder and burnish those. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll fold it out and in. And that base makes our bridge. So we're going to eventually put our house like so, and our church, and our joy to the world will be up across the top, and our other house and other DSP items on the sides and in the back. So we have DSP, Designer Series paper, and as you know, it's got two different designs on the sides. So we've decided to use the pool party. This particular paper is from the set Christmas Around the World. And this is a 3 by 3 cut, so that's going to be in the back. And the top will be hidden by some things, so you don't have to have the full coverage there. It will be hidden by our houses. And then we also have two sides that are going to go like so. Again, the tops and bottoms will be covered up by the other pieces layering. Those two side pieces are 4 inches by 1.5 inches. Okay, so we've got our DSP down. One of the things you might notice, we didn't get this one glued down just yet, but since this is a 3 by 3 and your score lines are also at 3, you might need to take a sliver off so that the fold works about as good as you want it to. And again, that can go in the center because your bridge pieces across the top and bottom are going to hide the plain area. The next piece we want to assemble is really in the back. You'll see this in a moment, because if you put this in the back, I haven't scored it tightly yet, but if you have your church in front, then it's difficult to get to your back set of houses. So we're going to do the bottom back part of the house first. In your kit or in your set, you'll see that this is scored at 1/4 inch on each side, so that you can work with it a little bit, get it set up so that you can
get it on either side.
Get it on either side the way you want it to, tightly enough. So that should work pretty well. And I did line it to the bottom because the plain white area on this one is tall enough to let the houses show when you put the front one on, and again line it at the bottom. So that should work out. So one of the things you'll notice as you're assembling, I'm kind of leaning this a little bit so you can see both the items in your houses. Can you see in the back that cutest little snowman? Isn't he adorable?
He is adorable. I love him.
Okay, so we're going to attach this back row of houses to our bridge card. And this is maybe the interesting factor of putting this together. And I'm using the liquid glue that we find in our catalog, only because the other tear and tape, not that I don't like tear and tape, but some of the other ones stick too quickly, and this one gives me a chance to wiggle it around a little bit and get it where I want it. So you can kind of press against that. And I just do one side at a time, that way I can adjust the other side too.
Because the card will collapse, so
Yeah, so the whole card does collapse. Like so, and fit in an envelope. But
so we are matching that one side up to the seam, and then kind of closing it to make sure that we know that the one side... Got it.
Yeah. Then we'll kind of do the same with the other side. See how I'm folding it over? And so that's where I want to do the glue there too. Again, this liquid glue is great because we can put it on there and get it adjusted in wiggle room, as you've called it. So I love that.
Anytime that it can give you a little play before it sets, it's always a good thing onto something like this.
Onto something like this. So I'm
So-
just going to fold that over, right like that.
So it looked like, Beth, that you lined it up with the corner, like kind of like stood it up on the crease, I should say, and then
Yep.
folded it down.
Exactly. Stand it up on the crease, and then that works really well for your 3D effect.
Awesome.
Okay, so we have our back row of house assembled, a little 3D effect there. The sides have dried somewhat. And then we've got two other pieces to put on. Our piece across the front that will align to the edges in the bottom. And then the same is true of the top. Okay, so the other two pieces we're going to put, our Joy to the World that's embossed and across the top, and then our church scene across and our snow scene across the bottom. Doesn't necessarily matter which one you do first. I think I'll do the Joy. Now, here's one thing about using glitter paper. Again, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes it's difficult to get it to stick to something. So what I did with this one, and you can probably do it yourself or do it a different way if you find something that works, is that these are going to be attached to the top corners. And so what I did was just punched a hole just inside the edge. It doesn't have to be perfect, because what we're going to do there is put some dimensionals. We're going to line that up, flip it over, and put some dimensionals on it so that sticks really well, and then those dimensionals will stick to the card itself. Okay, so for our banner across the top, I've lined it up where I think I want it. Remember, I punched the two holes, so I just flipped it over and put two dimensionals there over each one of the holes, so they stick to the DSP that's in front of the glimmer paper. So I've got one backing off. I haven't taken the other one off yet because I want to be able to align the top corner and not worry about the other one sticking where I don't want it to just yet. So there's that one, and then we can take the other backing off and get that aligned, and our top of our bridge card will be assembled. So here's our assembly so far, and again, it's a great looking 3D kind of a card, but we want to make sure that it's still a mailable item. So you'll notice as I push on the sides, it still folds flat for mailing. And the last piece we want to put on is our front snow scene with our church and house and trees. We're going to do the same thing here with dimensionals. You'll notice that I put a couple on the far sides because you want it to stick on the edges out here to the sides left and right and not in the middle. So again, we'll line side and bottom and do the same on this one.
So
and
stunning.
There is our card. I love the fact that our church steeple is right beside the Joy to the World as it kind of lays out. That's why I like to do the church piece last, so it really does layer on top nicely. And the little snowman is hiding behind there with the glimmery, all the glimmery elements to this one. And again, it'll fold flat, just like so, for mailing. And at this point in time, outside of the glittery diamond elements. Your embossing paste is all dry. You can see that that's not moving, so that's a fun part of using that embossing paste. And I hope you've enjoyed our card.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.